Hello, I'm Dr. Ralph Steele, and welcome to Wealth Think Tank Television. We are here live today in the beautiful Dallas-Fort Worth area on Wealth Think Tank Television on the Now Television Network. And we have a very special guest here today, folks. Let me tell you something. You will never imagine the quality, the professionalism, the wonders, the intelligence, an amazing professional, a woman in her own right. And I'm so glad to have her on television today, on Wealth Think Tank Television. Ladies and gentlemen, television audience, I want to introduce you to the Mrs. Janetta Collier. What an amazing businesswoman she is. Miss Collier, welcome to Wealth Think Tank Television.
Dr. Steele, thank you for having me. I am very honored to be here.
And folks, let me tell you something. Now, I have to give you just a few things so you'll know a little bit about her. Miss Collier attended University of Houston, University of Phoenix, studied business management, operations, and let me tell you something. I can believe that because she is a negotiator and a operator in her own right, but a strong businesswoman. She don't play with it. And listen, if you want some business done, listen, pick up your phone and you call Mrs. Collier. Y'all don't hear me, do you? You better hear me because you're talking about one of the best here, if not the best. But I want to just kind of lean into that, Miss Collier. Who inspired you to be a businesswoman?
Wow, good question. My parents inspired me to be a businesswoman. My father had several businesses himself.
Wow.
And my mother, although she was a homemaker, she helped my father in his businesses.
Wow.
And my grandparents also told us that the greatest accomplishment that you could ever have is to work for yourself.
That is very true, and I think you would agree with me. When you go into business, and the precursor, if you will, like a prerequisite, is being able to see a model. The model. My data on the grocery store, so the same difference. I had a model of business. So you're saying, if I'm correct, your model and your father and mother help you.
Yes, my parents were the catalyst to me wanting to have my own business.
Wow, that's great. And tell the television audience, what do you specifically do? That's one question. Then second, what do you actually provide for people when you're doing business?
Okay. Well, what I specifically do is I believe in service. I'm a woman of service.
Service?
Of service. I have several businesses. I have Imaginary Glass Ceiling, LLC, which is a business where I do networking and training for women. I also have New Blanc Investments, which I do my real estate and investments under, and Janetta Collier Enterprises, where I have a production company. So what I do in a nutshell is I service and provide to women in general the ability to start their own business, the understanding and the know-how to do that.
Wow.
I also teach women on how to invest in real estate because I believe that real estate is the #1 catalyst to generational wealth. I'm really big on generational wealth. So everything that I do is surrounded with women investing, leaving generational wealth, leaving a legacy, and believing and growing within themselves.
How did you come about developing streams of income? Because, folks, that's important.
Yeah, so I personally believe that, you know, the days are over when you can work a 9 to 5. The days are over when you can work one particular business and can build up a next
egg.
Thank you. To provide for you and your family.
Right.
So you need several streams of income. I like to say when you're sleeping, you need to have money going into your bank account while you're sleeping.
That is right.
And to have those different levels it is so important. Your question was, how did I come about that? I just went back to the basics, which was being of service to women.
Right.
So everything that I do, like I said earlier, are service to women. So I just set them up in areas in which I can help generate income while doing something that I'm passionate about. And that's how it came about.
Wow, that is absolutely great. And you know, there's a scripture that's dear to me, and I always say it on this broadcast. I've said it numbers of times, which is Ecclesiastes 11:2. Yes. It speaks to that about not only investing 7, but investing 8.
Yes.
And a lot of times people don't believe that, and they don't even believe. Jeanette, I've had people, even some of the ministers, who said, I've been pastoring and preaching for 30 years. I've never seen that scripture. I don't know how you can overlook the obvious and the most important. But the issue of generational wealth is, I'm also glad that you're speak a little bit more about your views on generational wealth, because that's so important. And people don't understand that real wealth really is generational wealth.
Yes.
So speak a little bit more on that from your perspective, because I think people need to hear that, and if you will.
Okay. So from my perspective, generational of wealth is when you're able to leave a legacy for 3 generations back, at a minimum of 3 generations back.
Wow.
And in the real estate industry, what I find so interesting is our grandparents and grandparents had housing, and they lived in these houses. So I'm just going to break it down for the everyday man.
Right.
They lived in these houses. And when they passed on, for whatever reason, the family didn't take over the house. They allowed the government, the state, to take over the house because it maybe had a tax lien that was that was missing, you know, some taxes. That's generational wealth that we're allowing someone outside of the family to take over.
Right.
That's generational wealth that could be left for other generations to come. And one big thing that happened was when they had this big, where the corporations were coming in and buying all these houses.
Right.
People, you know, they was giving all this money away, and people were like, oh, let me get my piece of the pie on this money.
Wow.
But what they didn't realize they were doing was giving away their generational wealth, because now those people can't afford to go and buy another house.
Right.
Now those people have to lease someone else's house that is acquiring generational wealth. So we have to be mindful of what is generational wealth. It is property that your parents owned that is now given to you as long as you keep up the taxes or whatever, and not allow someone else to take it. Because once that person outside the family take it, now they're getting generational wealth.
Correct.
So it's very important that we understand that real estate or family businesses can be a part of generational wealth. Also, policies, savings, that can be a part of a generational wealth. So we just have to be mindful and educate ourselves on what that is.
Yeah, and you're correct, is because a home is a valuable tool, and it's a wealth generator.
Yes.
In and of itself. And, you know, a lot of times I have a home myself that I lease out as well. And many people have homes that they lease out, and then, or they turn it into, a lot of people don't even know, you can take a home, not just lease it out, and even turn it into an Airbnb.
Yes.
I mean, there's many things you can do, and then take that property and create generational wealth. And actually, that's another stream of what? Income, isn't it?
Yes.
And so a lot of people don't understand that. And so I think that is the great thing that you're doing by leading women. And I know you will help anybody, because I know you. I know the quality of you have, in order that they can take whatever they have and turn it into something. But speak to this here, because sometimes people think the quality, let's say, for instance, somebody might have a home and it may be, let's say, $100,000, versus somebody else may have a home for $200,000, $300,000, or $400,000. Is it is it a good or bad thing for somebody who have a home that's 100,000 to just let it go because it's not of, it may not be of the best value, or it may not have been kept up the way it should. Should they just let that home go?
No, no, that home has value. So if people think of it like this, that home, that $100,000 home, you can pull equity out that home. Okay, you can get money out of that home and pay less interest if you were to go and borrow money from a bank. You're borrowing it from yourself. You can take that equity out. You can fix that home up. You can rent that home out. Think about the land that the home is sitting on. What is the value of that land? If you scrape the home down to the bones, the value of that land is still worth something. That is something you can still pass down to generations. So no, the answer to your question is no. That $100,000 home is no less valuable than the $500,000
So
home.
people, a lot of time, young people, when their parents pass, as you were saying earlier, they don't understand that, like what you said and breaking it down, A, the home itself has value, right?
Yes.
So as you said correctly, B, the actual land, I call it the dirt that doesn't die,
Yes.
has value to it. And so people can take that. And this is a message specifically to young people who don't understand that you, as you're saying correctly, take that and you said, C, there's equity in it.
There's equity.
And then D, you can actually borrow money from your
Equity.
from yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And so now you're creating an amazing way. You're borrowing from yourself. And as you said, E, you're paying less interest or no interest because it's yours.
Yes. See, people don't realize that there's no more dirt being made.
Right.
There's no more land being made. So whatever piece of property you have, it is worth it. And also what people need to realize is that real estate is one of the most lucrative way of building generational wealth.
That is very true.
More millionaires become millionaires because of real estate.
Because they own that land.
They own the land, they own the property, and they're making it work for them.
Yeah, you're correct, because I have some friends who own, I'm talking about folks almost like 5 and 10,000 acres of land. Now, there's nothing on that land. There's no home, there's no residential, there's no commercial property on that land. But the land has real value.
Yes.
That's what you're saying.
Yes.
And that value doesn't go away. In fact, in many cases, the value do what? So I'm asking you, tell people what happened to that land.
Well, it appreciates.
It does.
And then also, people need to realize you have land, for instance. You can grow timber on that land. That's generating income.
Right.
You have people to come into you that want to do survey on your land, maybe drill salt on your land, depending on where it's at, or oil or gas on your land. That's another way of
Basically
generating
minerals.
Minerals. And that's another way of generating income to that property. And then again, depending on where your land is, they may want to lease part of your land for hunting season.
Correct.
That's generating income. So there's so many things that you can do with that land. Don't. Here's something I love to tell people. If someone comes to you to want to buy your land, they don't want to buy your land for no reason. It's some value there. So before you sell, investigate.
Yeah, they probably already themselves have researched and or either looked at a zoning plan or a strategic plan, and they know the value, as you said correctly, of your land. So they're not just coming, as you say, knock, knock, who's there? The land monster.
Yes.
They're coming because they want to access the value of that land.
Yes, yes. They already know what's coming, like you said.
Tell a television audience today, what are 3 things you would tell anybody, any woman or man or whoever, who wants to start a business or they're already in business, that they could do? What would be some of the tips that you would tell people as a professional businesswoman yourself?
Three things I would say is make sure it's your passion. Make sure it's your passion, because having a business, starting a business, sound glamorous, but it's hard. It's hard work.
Work.
You're the janitor. You're the bookkeeper. You're the office manager. You're the CEO. You're everything when you're first starting a business. So you just make sure it's your passion. The second thing I would say is make sure you set it up correctly. Right. Set it up correctly. Don't go and do bootleg business.
Right.
Set it up correctly, because if it's not set up correctly, it's a hobby.
That's right.
It's a hobby. And then the third advice I would like to give is make sure that you are in line with what is expected of you.
Right.
In other words, once you get your name out there, it is so easy for your name to be tarnished if you're not doing business correctly.
That's right. Integrity.
Integrity. It is important that you have integrity. So those will be the three top things I would say.
Wow, those are excellent things. Passion, set it up legally correct, and do what you do, and do it professionally.
Yes.
What is some of your business goals or your business goal? Is it goal or goals that you want to accomplish in the next 5, perhaps 10 years as a businesswoman?
Well, some of my business goals are I want to be able to impact at least 1 million women in real estate investment.
Wow, that's absolutely
I
great.
want to be able to impact them, show them how to do it so they can build that wealth for them and their family. That's one goal. The second goal is I started a reality TV show called Boss Ladies of Dallas, which is also in line with my service for women. And I would like to see that show get picked up because it's very impactful.
Right.
It's business driven, and it will make our women and young ladies very proud to see their counterpart doing well.
Right, that's right.
Another goal of mine is to be able to speak to more people in general about who we are as far as what we do in our business. Because you are a reflection of your business. You are a reflection, and we have to be leaders. I'm really passionate about being a leader, being a legacy leader. So those are some things that I will want to see happen in the next 5 years for me.
The legacy leader part is so important, and I want you to, because we cannot leave television today without leaving that part out. And I know you have the answers to people. Speak to the broad and the Pacific areas about how do you become, or what it means to being legacy leader in terms of being a businesswoman, businessman. Because, folks, let me tell you something. That is probably one of the most important things that you're going to be challenged with. And so, Ms. Collier, just speak to that a little bit, because that's important.
Yes. So a legacy leader is a leader that leave a legacy. So let's break that down. You know, as leaders, we get accolades. We get awards. We get that a boy. We get pat on the back. We get put on platforms. But that's not a legacy leader.
Right.
A legacy leader is taking someone by the hand and say, hey, I want to take you with me.
Right.
I want to show you the ropes. I want to coach you. I want to mentor you. A legacy leader is a leader that if they see someone on the side of the road, they stop and help them.
Right.
Because as we know, what we do to people while we're here is how they're going to treat other people. See,
wow,
we leave an impact on people, whether it's positive or negative. We always leave an impact on people. So to be a legacy leader, we want to leave positive impact.
That's right.
We want to show them the ropes. We want to show them what the possibilities are for them. Now, also being a legacy leader, we need to be able to listen. Because everything is not going our way.
That's
everything things change, and we need to be able to change with it. So as a legacy leader, you have to be able to listen, show, and help grow.
Right.
Listen, show, and help grow.
Wow.
That will help. That would allow.
Show, and help grow.
Yes.
John Maxwell said something. You're familiar with John Maxwell. Mm-hmm. John Maxwell had a saying that I believe in, that we all should add value to each other. And in every relationship should be mutually beneficial in that everybody add value to each other, and everybody receives some kind of benefit from each other.
Yes.
And so I can appreciate what you're saying. With that being said, the other thing I wanted to kind of ask you today, because it amazes me, is when a person is challenged, and you know, you've been in business for how many years? You've been in business?
Over 25 years.
Over 25 years. So you know that there's always challenges in business. And so speak to our television audience about how to, as a businesswoman, with the different challenges that we live in and the 2022 moving on to 2023, how do people overcome and meet the challenge of being in business? And I'm asking that too because one of the things you said I really like is, as you were speaking, that's why some people don't understand. The Bible doesn't lie. It says, do unto others as you would have them what?
Do unto you.
Do unto you.
Yes.
But even so, with that being said, speak to the topic for our television audience. How does people meet the challenge? Because sometimes being in business can be difficult. It can be overwhelming. How would a woman today in 2022 deal with something like that professionally?
Well, we have to be able to pivot.
Mm-hmm.
We have to be able to pivot at all times. Earlier, I spoke on sometimes we don't know everything.
That's right.
And as the world evolves, we have to evolve. We have to continue to educate ourselves. No matter how long you've been in that business, you still need to revisit and educate yourself because things have changed. So you have to be willing to pivot where you are in order to keep moving forward. Now, sometimes we're going to fall. And sometimes we're going to fail. We just have to get back up and learn that lesson.
That's Donnie McClurkin's song. And
yes, get back up.
I can't sing it. I'm not a singer, but I do know the song says we fall down, but we must get back up again.
Yes, yes.
And that's so important.
And you have to get back up again, but you have to learn from it. You have to learn. There's a lesson in everything that we do.
That's right.
So you have to learn from it. And then when I say pivot, I mean we have to be able to, like when they had the COVID, we wasn't meeting people in person. We wasn't networking in person. Right. We had to go online. Things were done virtually. If you didn't know how to do things virtually, you was left behind.
Yeah, we wouldn't be sitting here now.
We wouldn't be sitting here.
In the middle of COVID, would we?
Exactly. And your business will suffer. So you have to be able to pivot. And for women, and for everyone out there that's in business, you have to be able to collaborate with other people.
Right.
You can't do business on an island by yourself. You have to be able to collaborate because as we collaborate, we learn things from other people. And that's the important part of it.
Well, see, that's huge because what I also know with people who are in business, most people, stay in business because of one or two things. I used to ask a question that some people couldn't get. And I used to ask this question of, what is the number one reason for anybody to be in business? And then I would ask what is the number two reason how you stay in business? And so the number one reason why people in business is, of course, is for profits. We all want to make our business to be profitable. But then you spoke to the thing of collaborating, which means, in my opinion, there's creating partnerships with people. And so this is one of the other things I wanted you to comment on as we have this business. Folks, let me tell you something. Can you see how smart she is? Television audience, do you see the jewel and the gem that's in her? And so now I want to just move on and say, wait a minute. So speak to people so they'll get this thing. How do people, what's the necessity of collaborating and being a partnership with people without losing their own business?
Okay. Well, twofolds. One is when you collaborate with other business people, you don't have to grow as fast.
Wow.
You don't have to grow as fast because business A over here may know how to do courier services.
Right.
Or may have trucks. And you, business, may need trucking. Why are you going to go out and buy trucks when business A over here is already a courier service?
Wow.
You collaborate with them. You partner with them. It's not taking any money away from you. It's not taking any money. You're networking. And the same thing if podcasts. Why would you set up a whole podcast in your house when there's podcast services out there that knows how to do it? You collaborate with them.
Right.
So that's how you set up partnerships. And that's what make it work. And that's what keep you from going under, because the more you can partner and collaborate with other people, the more money can stay in your business.
That's right. I believe, do you believe, I believe that there's enough money out here for everybody.
Oh, I always say there is a new pie being baked every day, and it's enough for everyone.
Yeah, it's probably delicious pie too, right?
Delicious. Delicious.
Wow, that's great. That's great. And folks, let me just say this to you. Take a quick commercial break. This is Wealth Think Tank Television. What we do is we help people invest money. That's the main thing we do, among other things. And I do want to make a note to the television audience. Many of you out there have a 401k or a mutual fund. Let me tell you, we are in an inflationary period. Before you lose that money or lose a greater percentage of it, please, before it's too late, call me. My number is 817-729-0543, because I've been getting calls, and I can't tell you the folks who are calling me now, because they see their 401k going down, down, down. And one lady called me the other day. She has lost $50,000. So now I can at least put a stop to it so she won't lose all of her money. And so with that being said, I want to shift back to Ms. Collier and tell people specifically your telephone number, the number you want them to call you on, and how you can help them. Because I believe, I know that people you're helping. So give your information right now.
So if you want to contact me, you can go to my website, JanettaCollier.com. That's JanettaCollier.com. And also my phone number is 469-995-1957. I can help you if you're looking to start a business, if you're looking to pick up a side hustle, if you're looking to become a real estate investor, or if you're looking to just be able to make a legacy for your family. Also, I'm available for any speaking engagements that you may have that's regarding business and legacy leadership.
There you have it, folks. Miss Janetta Collier, the queen of business success. We thank you for being on our show today. And you know what, folks? Pick up that call and call Miss Collier. Pick up that telephone right now and call Miss Collier. Thank you, folks, and watch our show 6 p.m. every Sunday. This has been Dr. Ralph Steele on Wealth Think Tank Television.